45 years after independence, jiggers are still a major problem in Kenya. It is estimated that more than 2 million people are affected by jiggers in the country. 10 million others are at risk of being infected. The jigger menace is all over the country and no district can boast of having eliminated the menace. Even former President Daniel Arap Moi wonders what could have gone wrong that we still have jiggers in Kenya nearly half a century after independence.
Where did we go wrong that jiggers can still torment people in the 21st century with such advancement in medical science?
As the government strives to achieve its economic goals of Vision 2030, this small pest is proving a thorn in its side. Jigger infestation boils down to poverty and poor hygiene. Jiggers, though small, can bring untold suffering to victims. Special interventions are necessary to break the vicious cycle. In a bid to curb the spread of jiggers, Ahadi Kenya has started a campaign aimed at eradicating the menace.
We offer a preventive measure. We treat. At the moment you're seeing I'm trying to treat with first to clean it with clean water and soap so that you're able to see where the jiggers are. That's the first step. Secondly, after that you dip the feet on potassium permanganate. Thirdly, after that you have to apply some petroleum jelly because the potassium permanganate leaves the skin very dry. Thereafter, because you have treated the person, as a Ahadi you always take an initiative or a further step to go to their homes, check how their home is, and also we fumigate. We have 7 powder, which one we use to fumigate. It has a residue period of about 6 months.
The infestation is all over the country and more than a dozen people have so far died after jigger-related complications. Many others have been hospitalized across the country with serious jigger infestation.
We call them referral cases. They are cases where you find that it's affected on very extreme areas. And if it's something that Ahadi cannot do, we are in coordination with the Minister of Public Health, where we take them to the dispensaries, government dispensaries, and they get treated. The only thing is you always appeal to government that they waiver the charges because these people cannot afford a pin to remove a jigger. So they're actually charged to go get treatment of jigger. So one appeal as a Ahadi to the government is to waiver the bills or the charges for the jigger infested so that we can have more and more people who are jigger infested to go there and get treated.
During its operations across the country, shocking revelations of how Kenyans are suffering are everywhere. The process of physically removing the jiggers can be traumatic and painful. Some people simply remove the jiggers using unsterile needles, increasing the chances of getting HIV. The wounds also act as entry points for other infections.
Worst case scenario we've seen where a child who's 7 years old has been transmitted to HIV and AIDS and he's passed on. The mother had HIV and AIDS and she also had jiggers, and she used to remove jiggers with the pins which are not sterilized. So once she removes her jiggers, she also removes from the husband and she also removes for the kid. That one causes, that one is tetanus plus HIV and AIDS. Also, we've seen in Kwale where we have a person who's commercialized jiggers. He's actually made it a business where children at the beginning of the term, they always have to go there and get removed, being removed jiggers with a metal bar, a very sharp metal bar. He actually removes it himself and he leaves them wide open. So as a Ahadi, we try and at least tell the people that we have a very polite method of removing jiggers, which is painless and pinless, and you can always get rid of jiggers without using any metal to remove it or a pin.
Kama hapa nilifanya hivi nikamtoa, sasa kuna baki shimo. Ile shimo ndio ambayo wanaingia tena roboto.
Due to the infections associated with jiggers, the victims, mostly children, are not able to go to school due to the stigma associated with having jiggers. Those who make it to school find they cannot write or play since the jiggers lower their metabolism, as is their energy levels. They end up becoming withdrawn and aloof. The jigger menace has also affected the free primary school education, where children are forced to drop out of school. Instead of being in school, this 5-year-old child is stuck at home, suffering from the pain of removing the pests.
If jiggers can totally disable you so that you are unable to go to school, then this is very sad. Because Kenya is a very progressive country. We need to watch out as a nation.
While some leaders are taking part in the campaign against jiggers, some are too embarrassed to accept the fact that some of their constituencies are affected.
I'll urge the society to take it just like any other disease that we have, malaria, HIV and AIDS, tetanus. Just take it as any other condition we have, which is treatable, which is preventable. And if you have the awareness, spread it to the next person. Do not deny that we have the menace in the country.
Special thanks goes to the Minister for Public Health, Beth Mugo, and former Medical Services Assistant Minister Danson Mungatana, Prime Minister Raila Odinga's wife Ida, and a host of other leaders for their direct involvement in the fight against the menace. The corporate world, the media and non-governmental organizations have also been supporting the fight against jiggers. But the campaign to eradicate jiggers is far from over. What is needed is direct government involvement to help in boosting, winning the fight.
If you have a person who's out there and you know they're jigger infested, if you don't have the money, go to any jigger help center, a hardy jigger help center, get medicine, get the person.